The Harwich Mariners look to finally get the better of the red-hot YD Red Sox as the Mariners come into this contest still looking for their first win against their crosstown rivals in the Red Sox, who come in winners of their last three. The Mariners coming off a tie last night against the Wareham Gatemen. Hello, everyone. Colin Casey joined by Tim Foley at White House Field. Not in our usual spot. We are just outside of the press box, heading up the third baseline, as it's been an exciting game with Nesson in the house, also providing a video feed in this one. But Tim, for the Mariners, coming off a couple of games against Western teams, they were able to get a victory right here on Monday against the Gatemen before tying an exciting finish last night across the bridge. What do you think the Mariners need to do to get back in the win column here tonight against a team they've struggled against?
Yeah, you mentioned it. A lot of success against the West, 4-1-2 against those Western Division opponents. And I think for the most part, Harwich just needs to look for the bats to come alive, because the pitching has been there really all season long. You know, barring a poor outing against Brewster, which I think was likely one of their worst performances of the season, they've looked good. And you have a guy on the mound today in Trey Dombrowski, who his last outing found a lot of success against these very wide, deep bats. So he's going to be on his game. He has to be. But the run support has to come through today for Harwich. It can't be all or nothing like it's been all season long.
Yeah, Trey Dombrowski, of course, as mentioned, familiar with YD. That outing on June 29th, 3 2/3. No runs given up, 5 hits and 10 strikeouts. He was outstanding in relief in that game. Now he gets to start, and he will face Peyton Graham to lead things off, the third baseman out of the University of Oklahoma. He digs into the box. We're just about ready to begin baseball this evening on a misty Thursday night here in Harwich. Trey Dombrowski, the lefty, working from the windup, and the first pitch of the ball game is a breaking ball in at 78 for a called strike. Peyton Graham had himself quite the game as that pitch is in for a called strike 2 against the Mariners earlier in the season. The 0-2 pitch popped up right side of the infield. Carter Putz, wearing his new number 22, makes the catch. And there is out number 1. Let's take a look at the rest of this YD Red Sox lineup as Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman, digs in, batting second. Cody Huff, the catcher from Stanford, bats third. Chase Luttrell batting cleanup, the right fielder out of Long Beach State. Pascal Ferreras, the shortstop from Western Carolina, bats fifth. Tanner Smith, the DH, bats sixth. Drew Bowser at first, batting seventh. Also out of Stanford, Zach Liu from Cal State Fullerton, the left fielder, bats eighth. And Briley Knight from the University of Portland in center, rounding out the YD order as that pitch swung on and fouled straight back by Hoffman. Dombrowski making his first start of the season for Harwich in his third appearance. Fastball misses up and away. Mariners coming in at 5-6-2 on the season, 4-2 here at White House Field. Pitch misses low and inside.
Yeah, you talk about Dombrowski coming in being a starter today after typically being a reliever. We saw that earlier in the season as well for Harwich, and it worked out well for them. I believe the first game, as this next pitch misses, count 3-1. It was the starting pitcher for that game against Wareham, I believe, at home. Spencer Geisting, came in, started, had a pretty good outing. And so we'll see what this reliever can do now in a starting position.
Hoffman takes a pitch on the inside corner, count now full. Hoffman, 368 on the season, 1 home run, 6 RBIs. Fixture in this lineup, but here he swings and misses for strike 3 as Dombrowski got him with a breaking pitch, 2 up, 2 down to begin the ball game.
Yeah, bit of a lengthy first at bat, but good to be able to come back after being behind in the count and being able to strike him out.
So here's Cody Huff, catcher out of Stanford. 348 on the season, no home runs, just 1 RBI. But 348, as I mentioned, so he's been able to get those hits. Hasn't really been able to get those clutch hits with runners on base, but here's a ground ball up the middle, and he does what he's been doing all season, setting the table with a single to center to keep the inning alive and bring up the cleanup man, Chase Luttrell.
Yeah, you'll have that. I mean, Harwich, they've had their success in getting these 1, 2, 3 innings, but we've seen a lot of 2-out offense. It feels like this season. So Harwich, ought to be careful here. Try not to let this next guy get on. Not let YD get too much momentum.
Here is Latrell, 255 on the season. No homers, 2 runs batted in. Prone to the strikeout. He has struck out 20 times this year, a team high. Fresh count. First pitch from Dombrowski misses outside as he works from the stretch for the first time. Again, just kind of a persistent miss all throughout pregame. It's seemingly let up for the time being. Still feel a couple of drops here and there. 1-0 just misses outside. And the hope is that it will stay dry for the remainder of this game, as forecast for tomorrow, where the Mariners are scheduled to take on Katuitt, it's not looking too pretty.
Yeah, you can almost cross that one off the calendar.
2-0 pitch. That one's over for a strike.
That's good off speed there from Dombrowski. 77, just floated it right across the plate.
That was the 8th hit that he had just given up so far, and now just over 6 innings of work on the year. 2-1, he's able to battle back, pull the count even. Really good crowd on hand despite the iffy weather.
Yeah, one of the few games actually being played tonight on the Cape, so you're going to get some fans from surrounding towns for sure.
2-2, waved at and missed for strike 3. A couple of strikeouts to begin the ball game for Trey Dombrowski as he's able to work around a 2-out single. And that will send his teammates to the plate through half an inning from White House Field. No score. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the first inning from White House Field, the Mariners look to get the bats going, and they will do it against a familiar face in Zach Franklin. Franklin out of Western Carolina University. Pitched in the Red Sox 3-0 win, second game of the season for both teams. Just pitched an inning, though, in relief. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 1 hit allowed. So a whip of 2 in that 1 inning. And Tim, this time a little different. He's getting the start, but he was great as a starting pitcher in his other appearance against Wareham.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Another guy who kind of opens up the season as a reliever, but comes in, and now he's trying to make some starts, stretch out his arm, and that's what every team's looking for as the season gets deeper, is who are the relievers who are going to be able to slot into these starting roles that can go 5-6 innings so that the back end of the bullpen can have a lighter workload and benefit the team for games going forward.
Here's the lineup that Franklin will be tasked with facing. The Harwich Mariners will send Tatum Levins, the DH, to lead things off. He bats first. Chris Newell, the center fielder out of University of Virginia, batting second. Brock Wilkin, who homered last night in Wareham, bats third and plays third. Carter Putz, the first baseman, will bat cleanup. Jordan Beck, the right fielder out of Tennessee, batting fifth. Zach Preisner out of Notre Dame, batting sixth, playing short. Aaron McKeithen, the catcher, bats seventh. Ben Malgeri, the Northeastern Husky, in left, batting eighth. And Hal Hughes, who scored the game-tying run last night in the top of the ninth inning at second, and he bats ninth. First pitch from Franklin, ripped up the middle, and it's 1 pitch, 1 hit for Tatum Levins, who continues to be a huge leadoff hitter for this Mariners team.
I mean, it's so great to see him have a lot of success in this role. I think we knew coming into this season he was a good hitter, and it's been nice to see that he's been able to continue that success here on the Cape.
It's now the 10th hit of the season for Levens in 31 at-bats, so just under 333 on the season. So that will bring up Chris Newell, the center fielder. Franklin pitching from the stretch, lead off of first from Levens. He's got decent speed, but again, he is a catcher, so he's not the fastest guy out there. We'll see if he's in motion. First pitch, breaking ball in there for a strike on Newell. Newell batted 6th in the lineup against Wareham last night. Had an RBI single in the first inning. Helped put the Mariners on top 1-0 in that little 2-out rally they had. The 0-1. Fastball misses down.
Yeah, I think the addition of some of these guys has really helped the Mariners. I mean, you talk about the 2 Notre Dame guys who came in against Falmouth and had some instant success. Newell's, he's been, as you said with the game last night, had a hand in helping to secure the win.
Franklin's 1-1, down and in, picked out of the dirt by catcher Cody Huff.
And it's so important to have these guys come in and have that instant success because it's a short season. So if you have to take a week or two to kind of get settled in, it's understandable, but your team has 2 less weeks to work with in a shortened season with fewer playoff spots.
Not to mention a season that started 10 days later than normal as the 2-1 misses down in the dirt. So ahead in the count is Newell, showing some patience here. Wouldn't this be something if the Mariners can put 2 on, nobody out for Brock Wilken, who had a couple of extra base hits, including that towering home run he hit into the Spillane Field parking lot. Franklin, a glance over at first. Now the 3-1. Swung on and sliced foul down the left field line.
And I tell you, it's pretty foggy here today at White House Field. It's tough to keep track of where these balls are going, so I'll be interested to see how these outfielders are able to handle it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tim, I saw that ball leave the bat. I had no clue where it was going. For a second, brief moment, I thought it might have been in play, but sure enough, made its way into the crowd here at White House Field. Zach Franklin's payoff pitch, lined up the middle and through the shortstop of Pascal Ferreras into center field. Standing at second is Levens, so 2 sharply hit singles up the middle for the Mariners, and they're in business in the bottom of the first.
That's a really nice at-bat from Newell. I mean, he was up there for quite some time, and then he's finally able to get it with a single up the middle to help push Levens to second. I think it just tipped off the glove of Franklin. I thought I heard a noise as it brushed by him, but clearly just barely enough. It still had plenty of speed to rocket up the middle.
Yeah, the exit velocity extremely high coming off of his bat there. Was able to stick that left arm out and try to get a glove on it, but wasn't enough. It was too hardly hit for Ferreras to make a play on it. So here is Brock Wilken. Righty against righty. The first pitch to him misses low. Wilken steps back into the box, comes in hitting .347 on the season, 3 home runs, 12 runs batted in. Rising sophomore out of Wake Forest. Franklin's 0-1, looping breaking ball, but he leaves it up. That's one thing you can't do against Wilken. You can't fall behind.
No, I mean, he's been so dangerous. Even when he's behind in the count, he finds a way to be aggressive still and foul off pitches and extend an at-bat and get something he likes. So you give him a 2-0 count, he's going to really pick a ball he wants, and he's going to do something with it.
Pitch, fastball, misses high. Count now 3-0.
Of course, there is the possibility you just continue to pitch around him and you put him on base with a walk. That is also something he's gotten used to this season.
Carter Putz waiting on deck. Could get a huge opportunity here as the Mariners off to a strong start offensively in this first inning. 3-0 to Wilken. He's got the take sign on, and it misses high for ball 4. Didn't miss by a whole lot, and all of a sudden, the bases are loaded with nobody out here in this first inning.
I mean, this and what we saw last night with Wareham are are some of the things that we haven't really seen all season long from Harwich. It's that first inning offense. I mean, you get 2 singles, you're able to draw the walk, and now you're threatening. I mean, Harwich left 3 guys on in the first last night, but they were able to get a run out of it. So it's about getting another run here, trying to drive in at least 2 for sure, and just building a lead early. Harwich has not done that all season long. Last 2 days, it's looked good though.
Here is Carter Putz, as I mentioned, the top half of the inning, now wearing number 22. He was number 37. For a moment, we thought he was wearing number 8 this morning. Turns out, though, 22 is the one he's stuck with, as Carson Seymour being released ahead of this weekend's draft. First pitch, got him on the off speed, 0-1. Will be an exciting weekend for all 10 Cape League teams, watching some of their former players go high in the MLB amateur draft. And it's good to see that draft being extended. Remember, it was only 5 rounds last year due to COVID-19, back up to, I believe, 25 this year, as the 0-1 is in at the knees for strike 2. The Mariners dugout begs to differ. So Franklin finally getting back ahead in the count. He had struggled to against Wilkin. Maybe a bit of a response after giving up 2 hard-hit singles. Trying to be a little tentative to a dangerous bat like Wilkin, but he's coming right after Putz now. The 0-2, just off the plate.
And this is even still where the Mariners will find success. You're down 0-2 in a count. One of the best teams in the league at drawing the walk, and a guy in Putz who's had a really good eye at the plate all season long. He's primed here for even still a good at bat down in the count 1-2.
Infield playing at normal depth, probably trying to roll double play ball and trade a run. 1-2 is lined sharply into center field. That's going to fall quickly, and it's in for a hit. Tatum Levins comes around to score from third. Bases will still be loaded with 1 out, with nobody out, I should say, and 1 home in the inning. Mariners on top 1-0.
I mean, I think they ought to bring the camera crew around every time the Mariners are playing, because this is fantastic what we've seen. It's just 4 hits to get on base, or 3 hits rather, and you bring a guy around, still no outs. It's a really good-looking inning right now for the Mariners.
And that man will be Jordan Beck. Another power threat in this Mariners lineup, although we haven't seen that on full display yet this Cape League season. Beck out of the University of Tennessee, one of the later arrivals.
Yeah, and I'd say he's probably one of the later arrivals who's yet to really find his stride here. You know, we've seen it from both the Virginia guys, the Notre Dame guys. They've put it together a bit, but Beck, we're still waiting to see it a bit from him.
First pitch, breaking ball misses high. He had to duck out of the way of it. Jordan Beck, .294 average on the season. 5 hits, but all of them have been singles thus far, so he's still trying to get those extra base hits and start finding gaps. Hazel Green, Tennessee native. Franklin's 0-1-0 is fouled back out of play. Strikeout to walk ratio, another thing that Beck looks to improve as this July goes on. 8 strikeouts, just 3 walks. Had a strong game against Wareham last night, though, despite a pair of strikeouts. He also had a pair of hits. First multi-hit game of the season. Newell at third, Wilkin at second, Putz at first, the 1-1. Fastball on the outside corner, didn't like that one. ID still looking to record an out in this first inning. First 4 Mariners to come to the plate, they've all reached base. Franklin comes set. The 1-2. Swung on and sliced foul. Zach Preisner waiting in the on-deck circle. Again, as you mentioned earlier, Tim, just one of 2 games in action tonight, the other being Orleans making the trip to Hyannis, where the Firebirds fell behind early, but they had a comfortable 7-2 lead at the last update. Be sure to keep you filled in throughout the evening on how that game is. The 1-2, breaking ball, hit into center, falling quick, and it's another base hit for the Mariners. Chris Newell in to score. Everyone else moves up 90 feet. RBI single for Jordan Beck. The Mariners lead it 2-0.
They have not seen it this good all season long. This is the first time all year I can say undoubtedly that the 5 guys have gotten on without recording it out.
4 hits and a walk. And Zach Franklin just laboring out there trying to record an out at this point. Pitcher's worst nightmare, bases loaded, still nobody out, and 2 home in the inning.
And I mean, these conditions, you have to think back to them. It's a little misty out. I'm not quite sure how this exactly would affect a pitcher, but as opposed to a nice dry, hot day, it's not going to be quite as efficient.
And as you kind of said, you don't know how it's going to affect a pitcher. I looked towards the bullpen, and one of the YD guys warming up lost control of one and launched it right over the catcher's head. And we're going to have a pitching change just like that. So Zach Franklin faces 5 batters. All 5 reach base, and his night is done just like that. He will turn things over, head to the dugout. We'll get a report on the new pitchers shortly. It's 2-0 Harwich here in the bottom of the first. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming out to White House Field tonight. The YD Red Sox and the Harwich.
Welcome back to White House Field. A pitching change to tell you about already in the bottom of the first. Zach Franklin's day is done after giving up 4 hits and a walk on the 5 batters he faced. 2 of his runners already in. He's responsible for the other 3 as the bases are loaded and nobody out. Jacob Meter coming in, the TCU Horned Frog, in quite the predicament, Tim.
Oh, yeah, I mean, talk about a high-pressure situation here. You're just trying to get out of the first inning. You're yet to record an out. You don't want this game to get out of hand before it even begins, really. So this is a huge inning for Jacob Meter to come in and try and shut this down.
Zach Preisner bats. Bases loaded again. Still no outs. First pitch. Ripped foul just outside of third. Look out. Meter making his 5th appearance already this Cape League season. He's gone 6 2/3 with a 6.75 earned run average. His last outing came July 2nd at Chatham in a 4-1 loss. Was able to record 4 outs, gave up just 1 hit, struck out 2. Definitely his best outing of the season, as it's the only outing he hasn't given up any runs in. The 0-1 is a towering pop-up behind third. Infield fly rule is in effect, so Preisner is out as a catch is made regardless, and there's a big out number 1 for the Red Sox.
Oh, most
Now
certainly.
batting
I
for
mean, that's what
Harwich
you need.
Mariners,
First
number
guy,
12, the catcher
the
from
new
UNC
pitcher
Charlotte,
faces, get him to
Aaron
pop out, get him
McKeithen.
easy out. I mean, that's exactly what YD needs. Although you still have two more to record here, of course. Any bases and out, so double plays abound. But Harwich has really looked good throughout this first inning.
And it's good news for Trey Dombrowski on the mound, who obviously the last time he pitched against YD didn't really need any run support, but his team was already behind, so this time making the start is in a really good spot. McKeithen, who is a power threat, does have a home run on the season, came on the road against Falmouth in that 11-9 victory the Mariners had on the road almost 2 weeks ago. That ball is hit well out towards left center field, but hanging up there for the catch to be made by Knight. Briley Knight fires this one in. Running home from third is Brock Wilkin, and the Mariners lead it 3-0 now on the sac fly from Aaron McKeithen.
I mean, you'll take those. McKeithen, he's done that a few times this season where he'll get you a sac fly in a spot where you should be driving a run across. So now you have two outs, but you have a guy in Ben Malgeri who's been really a hot bat for the Mariners this season. He was a big part as well of last night's tie against Wareham.
So Putz standing at second, Jordan Beck at first. As Tim mentioned, Malgeri with a golden opportunity to pad onto this lead. Meter so far doing his job, limiting the damage. First pitch to Malgeri. Just misses inside. Mist still coming down.
Yeah, I tell you, Colin, it's exceptionally difficult to keep track of a scorebook when there's literally just water everywhere in the air. Very difficult.
This must be how pitchers feel as they try to get a grip on the ball in this weather. Look at second, Meter comes home, breaking ball. That one's in there on the outside part of the plate. Ben Malgeri, 242 on the season. The one home run coming at White House Field, 4 RBIs. He's also scored 7 runs. Good enough for second on the team. The 1-1. Ripped down the left field line, and it will hook just foul. That one probably plating 1, if not 2.
Yeah, that was a pretty well-struck ball down that left field line. Just went foul, though.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 3 home in the inning for the Harwich Mariners. Hal Hughes waits in the on-deck circle, looking to get an opportunity to have the Mariners bat around in this first inning. Meter comes set. And home. Another line drive, also foul down the left field line. So Malgeri just a bit out in front of it, but boy, he's been squaring up Meter's pitches.
Yeah, defending the plate pretty well here through this at bat. That's what you want. Could make this new guy work. I mean, the Mariners did a great job of making Franklin work and getting hits off of him. So same approach for the next batters.
Harwich, again, looking for that first win against YD this season in their third game against them. And the breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3. Malgeri is retired, and that will end the inning. But not before the Mariners put each of their first 5 batters on base and bring home 3 in the home half of the first. We head to the second. Harwich 3, YD nothing. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
I recommend closing your book when it's not in use.
To the second we go. Colin Casey joined by Tim Foley on
Now
this
batting for the Red Sox,
damp,
number
to
5,
say the least, Thursday night.
Pascal Ferreras.
Only Thursday of the regular season, the Mariners are scheduled to be in action, as is usually an off day for them. But with the Nesson broadcast coming in, great opportunity as first pitch by Trey Dombrowski hit on the ground to first. Carter Putz picks it up, and just like that, Pascal Ferreras retired on just one pitch to begin the second.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want if you're Harwich. Just efficient outs,
Now
keep
batting
it
for the Red
rolling.
Sox,
Don't let
number
YD
29,
get any
DH
momentum at the
Oregon,
plate.
Tanner Smith.
So Tanner Smith, designated hitter out of the University of Oregon, digs into the box.
And I mean, we saw it last night in regards to the quote-unquote time of possession for the game.
Pitch over for a strike.
As you know, Harwich, they were really up to bat for a majority of the game. It wasn't until the later innings after the lightning delay where Wareham kind of had lengthier innings.
But second hit of the game for the Red Sox, and Tanner Smith is aboard with a one-out knock. Fell in front of Chris Newell out in center field. And let's take a look actually at the Mariners defense. Aaron McKeithen behind the plate. Carter Putz, who just had that put out over at first. Hal Hughes at second, Zach Preisner at short, Brock Wilkin manning the hot corner at third, Ben Malgeri in left, saw Newell out there in center, and Jordan Beck in right. So Drew Bowser looking to keep the rally going for YD. They certainly need it, falling behind 3-0.
And you talk about the Harwich defense, and this is really the look we're going to be getting through the rest of the season. Because this is the point where, you know, Harwich, I mean, really, across the league, you have a lot of guys that have already left to prepare for the draft. Like, just get ready for that. The guys have already done the USA. Most of the guys have already come in from their eligible series, and so this is what you're looking at for the rest of the season. This is where guys are going to continue to get reps, get comfortable. And, you know, Harwich, and thinking in particular about its defense, it hasn't been the strongest to start the season, but I think it could become a strong point for them as the season continues.
Just missing. We talked about interesting stats on the season for the Mariners, and by we, I mean Tim and Tyler Henry, our third broadcaster, who was on the call with me yesterday, as Dombrowski comes home with a 2-1, chops it foul off of Levens, but talked yesterday really about how funny it is that every single broadcast I've been on doing play-by-play for 6 innings, Mariners are 0-4 in those games, but the 2 games I was not on were both against YD, and they ended up losing those games as well. So something's got to give here tonight.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, there's always that broadcaster's jinx, and I think we certainly are we have not run short of bad luck so far this season in regards to trends and our equipment working, so something's got to give.
So true. The 2-2 swung on a miss, strike 3, third punch out for Trey Dombrowski, and a big out number 2 as he gets Bowser swinging on the 90-mile-an-hour fastball, 2 down.
Red Sox, number 8, the left fielder from Cal State Fullerton, Zach Lou.
Zach Lou, the left fielder, looks to keep this inning alive. Lou from Cal State Fullerton. Waving the bat. Dombrowski, a look at first, now the pitch. That'll miss just low. The Mariners, of course, having that lengthy home stretch the first week of the season after starting opening night at Eldridge Park in Orleans. 1-1 is there for a strike. But since then, after that home stretch, really the rest of the way, it's going to be kind of 1 to 2 games at home and then 1 to 2 games on the road. Not really any home stretches left for the Mariners this season. Smith takes the lead off first, the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Really good location so far from Trey Dombrowski. Has not surrendered a walk. Just a pair of singles. 1-2. Breaking ball swung on a miss, strike 3. Trey Dombrowski picking up right where he left off the last time he faced the YD Red Sox, as he's gone through 2 scoreless innings thus far at White House Field. Harwich leads 3-0 over YD. You're watching Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the second, Mariners lead 2-0 over the YD Red Sox. 9-1 and 2 hitters due up as Hal Hughes will get his first opportunity. What a big first inning it was for Harwich, as they put up 3 runs on 4 hits to give themselves the lead, and Jacob Meter back out there. Not exactly pitching in what he expected, Tim, coming in this early out of the bullpen and essentially being the starting pitcher now from here on out.
I mean, such is the life of a reliever. You never know when your number's going to be called, and as the situation last time was for Dombrowski against YD, when you get put into the game and you go 6 innings, that could very much set you up to have success down the line. And so it's a big outing for Meter now. It's his game, as you put it. He's almost a starter at this point.
1-1 the count. He comes home. Fastball, that's on the outside corner for a strike. There is action, though, in the YD bullpen, as Lightly throwing as a right-hander. So you wonder if they're not going to stretch him too thin. We'll see if YD is going to have to really go into their bullpen to try to keep their 3-game win streak alive, as it's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Hal Hughes goes down looking to begin the home half of inning number 2.
Harwich Mariners, number 2, the DH from Pitt, Tatum Levens.
So Tatum Levens, who kicked off the rally in the first inning, singled, came around to score. Looking to do just that once again. Left-handed hitting catcher, the DH in this one. Check swing on the first offering, and it's a called strike. Talked about the MLB draft and how big that will be for the Cape League this upcoming week, but also All-Star Weekend in Major League Baseball as that pitch goes to the backstop. Some former Cape Leaguers will be recognized there, especially in that home run derby. Kyle Schwarber, the former Wareham Gateman, but one of our own here at the Mariners, Trey Mancini, making the home run derby. And what a story that has been for Mancini after what's been nothing short of a really emotional last year, as the 1-1 is in for a strike. Mancini being diagnosed with colon cancer, missing the 2020 season, but he's come back with the Orioles, and him and Cedric Mullins really 2 of the better 3 and 4 hitters in really all of baseball, despite the Orioles' struggles this season. The 1-2 misses low.
I mean, you talked about that. That's really such an amazing story to be down like that. You have a diagnosis like that. That can do a lot to you mentally as well as physically. And so to be able to come back and play the game and reach a level where you're playing in the home run derby says a lot about the character that Mancini has.
2-2. That misses low in the dirt. Make things 3-2. Of course, Mancini, no surprise to see him in the home run derbies. Had a couple 30 home run seasons. Again, one of the real bright spots in an Orioles team that has struggled in this rebuilding era that they've been in since the mid-2010s. The payoff pitch is fouled straight back into the trees. And off goes the crowd after it.
A feature of the Cape League really is just something to watch. Everybody sprint over, even if they're nowhere near it, just to be near the crowd.
Never know what can happen with the wet conditions. Payoff pitch misses for ball 4. Tatum Levens draws a 7-pitch walk. He heads down to first base, and a one-out base runner for Harwich.
Center fielder from Virginia, Chris Newell.
So here our PA announcer, Chris Cassidy, announcing on his duties here. You can hear him a lot clearer because we're right near the speaker outside to the left of the press box, but Chris also a real valued member of the media team on the road, as he has really been our stream producer. He's also a writer for the team. Really does it all in just his first year with the Harwich Mariners. First pitch to Newell misses high and away.
Great moral support, too. Always keeps
the
energy high. I mean, Chris, just a great guy to have around our media team. Can't over-explain how valued he is.
Jake Meters 1-0. Breaking ball, a good-looking one. Gets Newell to go around on the check swing. 1. Infield at double play depth. Looks like the shortstop, Ferreira, shading a little bit more towards second base bag, which is where that last ball that Newell hit ended up. But this one will go on the ground to first. They'll try to turn to a look at second, but Bowser instead goes ahead and tags the bag for out number 2. So Tatum Levens moves up 90 feet, second.
Number 25, the third baseman.
And Brock Wilken with an RBI chance. I feel like that's something we've been saying constantly this season. Wilken getting just so many opportunities to drive in runs. Of course, he had the home run yesterday, the solo shot, but this time around he's looking to add to his dozen RBIs with a man on second. As Tim Foley departs, got a new color commentator in the interim. As a quick signal from the umpire, but Tyler Henry has now joined us in our makeshift outdoor booth here at White House Field. We get the nice road team experience for the first time in 2021 as Wilken steps in to face Meter. First pitch breaking ball misses outside. Tyler, I remember, I believe it was around 4th of July we were actually out here with the game on Fox Sports in 2019 against Chatham, and unfortunately the weather was a lot better 2 years ago.
Yeah, the weather was a lot better, but I'd agree. I think the fireworks coming a little bit more here for Harwich. Also, good to be in. Weird schedule today, but it's going to be a fun one.
Breaking ball from Meter misses low to Wilken. I believe the game we were out here was an outstanding performance on the mound from Connor McCullough, and Nico Cavadas also had a home run in that game. Want to say the final was 3-0 Harwich, but I could be wrong. I don't have my 2019 scorebook on me. One of the things I left back in Western Mass that I really wish I didn't, the 2-0. And Wilken hits this one a ton out to left field. And a dive, and that ball is going to get down. Fair ball down the line. In to score from second, Tatum Levens. Stand-up double for Brock Wilken, his 13th RBI of the season. 4-0 Harwich here in the second. Hard to tell exactly from our angle, but it was a dive out and left by Zach Liu. He came up empty, and that ball just dribbled all the way down the left field line. And the Mariners keep hitting here in the second.
Yeah, I don't know what to see Harwich have after a rough day offensively. Come home and they find a way to get it done. It's been happening all season, and so far it's been happening here today.
So still a runner at second with 2 outs, now 1 home in the inning. Carter putts. Single his last time. We head to the third inning from Harwich, Mass. Nothing. He goes back to support. I'll turn it over to third inning for play-by-play duties.
Yep, thank you so much, Colin, as we get set for another inning of work here. And the Harwich Mariners really laying it on thick here. A great rebound appearance here for Harwich after a draw yesterday. Not the worst result, all things considered, but I know the Bats wanted to do a lot better, and that was one of the things we talked with Coach E about before this game. And just consistency here through the schedule. The middle part of it. Bradley Knight leads things off, followed by Peyton Graham and Wyatt Hoffman for the YD Red Sox, and Trey Dombrowski has been working through this one. He's got a 1-2 count. Nobody through the line really able to figure him out. Did surrender those 5 hits, but nobody really threatened the Mariners at any point as he delivers a good off-speed pitch here. That'll miss outside. Count goes to 2. Job kind of keeping things close. He has a lot of things to swing at. That'll miss into 2. Count goes to full. Absolutely. As you mentioned, crazy to think with 4 strikeouts already. It's the first time. The payoff pitch in there. Strike 3. Got him looking. Bradley Knight becomes the 5th strikeout victim of the day. And Colin, 5 strikeouts the first time through the order. Harwich may have found one of those guys that's going to slot in here in the rotation week in, week out. Absolutely. New batter is Peyton Graham, the leadoff man. He'll check his swing, watch the first one miss high here. As, I mentioned earlier, it's a weird schedule, certainly for you guys, but even a little bit weirder here for me. I've got a couple of innings here on our broadcast. I'll pop upstairs to be on the Nesson broadcast, as this one is fouled back to make it a 1-1 count. And then I'm going to hop over and be on the YD broadcast for an inning, and then hop off and keep the live tweeting going all throughout, keep that going throughout the evening. So certainly an interesting workload here, but we're doing everything we can to make it happen. And happy to be bringing you this one here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network, despite some technical errors. Colin, back on the air here. Yep, could certainly be the start of something big. This is a Harwich Mariners team that has not had a losing streak this season, as this ball fouled away, but they also haven't had a winning streak so far this season. We have not seen 3 wins, losses, or ties in succession for this Mariners team so far, and it's kept them kind of, in the middle, bottom part of the Eastern Division, but you get the feeling they're going to have to put something together soon. Certainly could be, as again, he went out and had a word with Dombrowski just a moment ago. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from the aforementioned Dombrowski, and this ball is going to be chopped to short, picked up by Preisner, steps, turns, throws, and that will be the second out of the inning. So Peyton Graham retired quickly, 2 down here, and it'll be Wyatt Hoffman due up next here for the YD Red Sox.
3, the second baseman from University of Pacific, Wyatt Hoffman.
Hoffman so far today 0 for 1 was the first guy to strike out to Dombrowski. So we'll see if he can turn things around here. Certainly a good opportunity for him here. The Red Sox trying to get something, anything going offensively. It has been a slow start to this one for the YD Bats. A couple of hits, and on the other side of things, Harwich just continuing to lay it on. They've already stranded a good number of runners so far, but everybody that's come up has found a way to get on for the most part, first time through the order. So we'll see what happens here. Dombrowski squaring off right now again. against Peyton Graham, the pitch. This one swung on and taken right into the mitt of Brock Wilkin, and that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. The Harwich Mariners able to work out of another quick one to the home half of the third we go. You're watching here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Tyler Henry joined by Tim Foley, and it's been kind of an interesting day. Well, I'll turn it over to you. I'll get to my point here in a second.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Good to be back. YouTube network just made my NESN debut, lifelong dream. So certainly glad to cross that one off the bucket list. As count here is 1-1 to the batter in Preisner. Or, pardon me, Jordan Beck. Good thing I didn't mess that up on NESN.
Absolutely.
1-1 pitch. Nice frame job done by the catcher in Huff. It's a 1-2 count here.
Tim, I was kind of joking around about this with Colin Casey just a minute ago. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. I've done a lot of weird stuff. This is the first time I'll be on 3 different broadcasts for the same game. This is a bizarre set of circumstances.
As Beck fouls one off. So has it been confirmed that you will be hopping on the YD broadcast?
It most definitely has. This will actually, I believe now that we add YD to the mix, I will have been on broadcast for 5 different teams on the Cape in 2 summers, just working with Harwich. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, of course, never in one game before. Always spread out over a season.
Jack of all trades, Tyler Henry, as the 1-2 pitch misses up high, count 2-2.
Well, jack of one trade, just used by many employers.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Been a pretty good start for the Mariners, though, today. We have not seen this all season long from them, this kind of early offense, barring, of course, that one Chatham game, as I was reminded, as the 2-2 pitch in for called strike 3, down goes Beck looking.
Yeah, but that Chatham game felt different because, again, you had a couple of guys find their way on with walks, and then one home run did it all, and it was over. This has been kind of the more slow, sustained hit parade that we were hoping to see, and it's been working out so far here for the M. See if they can keep it rolling with a 4-run lead.
So now this brings up Zach Preisner, the aforementioned. First pitch in from Meter. Ball skied up. Couple guys trying to settle under it. It's the catcher. No, it's the third baseman, Peyton Graham, coming under and making the catch. And now with that,
This will bring up Aaron McKeithen.
Now batting for the Mariners, number 12, the catcher from UNC Charlotte, Aaron McKeithen.
McKeithen, last time out, had a sac fly. Hit one out to center field, helped to drive in the runner in Chris Newell. I believe helped drive in Brock Wilkin, as he is ahead in the count here, 1-0. So it's been a really interesting start to this game. The YD starting pitcher could not record a single out. As the next pitch in for a called strike, count 1-1. Zach Franklin, no innings of work, technically speaking. Not sure what the official ruling on that would be, but again, did not record an out. Next pitch in for a called strike, 1-2. It was a 4-hit day for him. Gave up 4 hits, I believe 3 runs earned, walked 1, did not strike anybody out. And as this ball's popped up by McKeithen, coming over to make the catch, first baseman Bowser, he will settle under it, and that will do it. We move now to the bottom of the 3rd inning. The top of the 4th inning. Right back here at White House Field in just a flash. Don't go too far.
All right, Matt, we good?
All right, we are back. ID Cody Huff singled his last time up, and I am rejoined in the booth by Colin Casey. Colin, welcome back.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't as quick for us to both be back, as of course we get the quick 3rd inning after 3 in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd for the Mariners. It's just that's just how it goes in the broadcasting business.
Yeah, you certainly got to make the most of what you have when you have it. This account here to Huff, 1-1, and now, of course, with our luck, our broadcast partner Tyler Henry up there, he'll be on for the next 30 minutes as this inning gets out of hand. We'll have to see. As the 1-1 pitch, ball hit up the middle. Preisner's going to come over to scoop it up, throw on to first, skips in the dirt, gets away from Carter Putz. That'll allow the runner in Huff to get down to second.
And the leadoff man is standing on second base.
See any errors?
Dombrowski, I believe, came in a tough situation last time out against YD. I mean, that's the life of reliever, so he's certainly used to having a pitch from the stretch. I believe this may have been a balk. I think the umpires were conversing about whether or not it was. They're gonna say it wasn't.
Man. And if you're tuning in here, I mean, it'd be really cool also to pull up the Nesson feed if you want to listen to our very own Tyler Henry call half inning, and it's really a great experience. I can't.
As a first pitch finds the zone on Chase Luttrell, 0-1. Could not agree more. I think as biased as we could possibly be, being Mariners broadcasters, is certainly when this place is bumping, when there's no fog, as this ball hit on the ground. Hughes coming over, cannot make the catch, stumbles into the outfield. Coming home to score is going to be Luttrell, or Cody Huff, rather. So Huff comes across to score, and the Red Sox have their first run of the game with Luttrell Luttrell standing on first.
Yep, big time hitting. Errors will hurt you. It's an unearned run, not charged to Trey Dombrowski, but yeah, all it takes is one base runner. And now you heard the YD side, the fans, which have traveled really well with the team here today, cheering them on. They're all of a sudden back in this game, tying run in the on-deck circle.
Of course, you'll get that with these Eastern Division opponents. Only about a 20-minute drive between Red Wilson and White House Fields. And so plenty of Red Sox fans at the ballpark this afternoon. It's a 1-0 count to Pascal Ferreras, the shortstop. Grounded out to first to open up the second inning. This time he'll sky one up. Putz and McKeithen coming over. And that one's going to land on top of the Red Sox dugout. Count now 1-1.
Yeah, this miss has certainly done a number. I can't even write my scorebook anymore at this point.
I warned you, Colin.
Yeah, you did.
Keep it closed when you're not using it, and certainly don't put the paper face down.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put the paper. I actually put the paper face down, and then it was like, all right, I'll just restart. And even then, just not doing too well. I mean, I have it here, but I also have a paper towel beneath it. But I think it's too little, too late at this point.
He gets to a point as the runner goes for second. He's caught off. And tagged out at second is Luttrell. Pickoff attempt from Dombrowski was successful. So there's now one down here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, that'll certainly help the kill the momentum for YD. You can't make base running errors like that when you're trying to get back into a ball game. Good pickoff move by Dombrowski and a big out for the Mariners.
Ball hit up the middle. A single up the middle by Pascal Ferreras. This is the third straight member of the Red Sox to get on base.
You wonder what could have happened had his teammate not gotten picked off the play before. Now, you wonder if that could have been a double play ball because the middle infielders in Preisner and Hughes might have been shading closer to that second base bag. But, you'll never know because you got picked off at first. So Mariners, we'll see if they can bounce back once again after this one out base runner.
Harwich at double play depth in the infield. First pitch from Dombrowski in at 76 miles an hour for a called strike. This is the most success YD has had at the plate so far. They've had a hit in the first and second innings. First time they've gotten multiple base runners on. Second pitch at 89 miles an hour in for called strike 2.
It's great to see Trey, though, kind of shake off that error. Sure, he gave up the hit, base runner aboard after that, but a huge test to his confidence, see if he can get out of this inning with just the one unearned allowed.
0-2 pitch. Runner goes for second. Takes a skip. Throw down. Safe. Pascanel Ferreras able to reach second safely. Runner now standing on second for YD.
Ferreras trying to get into scoring position and does just that. It was a tough throw for McKeithen. I think it might have run on a breaking ball, and he skipped it in. A good attempt on a tag over at second, but too much speed.
So YD working that timing the second time around after the check swing. Did he go around? They'll say he did. Drop strike three, so McKeithen will tag Tanner Smith, the DH, and down he goes swinging.
Now batting for the Red Sox.
So there's two outs now in the top of the fourth inning. This will bring up Drew Bowser, first baseman out of Stanford. Bowser struck out third time around, or his first time around, I should say. Ball skied up, and that ball is foul. 0-1.
Yeah, big runner on second here, because if YD is able to close it to two with a two-out single, then you can really start feeling them getting that momentum back. Still only the top of the fourth inning, plenty of ball game left.
I mean, you said it, plenty of ball game left. This is a good YD team, and a big cut on 78 upstairs from Drew Bowser. Count now 0-2. Dombrowski in a good spot to try and close out the inning here.
Despite all the misting here, the weather actually, like in terms of the temperature, hasn't been too cool. It's been comfortably in the high 60s.
0-2 pitch swung on and missed by Drew Bowser. Down he goes. Strikeout number 6 for Trey Dombrowski. We'll be back with the bottom of the fourth inning in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're watching the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back. Bottom of the fourth inning. Ben Malgiri coming up to bat. We will see the 8, 9, and 1 batters coming up. Malgiri last time around struck out swinging to end the first inning. Evens up at 1-1.
And now if you're forget that one unearned run and get the bats going. It's been a really good day at the plate outside of that last bottom of the third inning.
Ball foul tipped back by Malgeri. Count now 1-2.
Now that we got a second, obviously I was down here broadcasting when you were on Nesson, and likewise you were down here when I was. I'm just curious how you think your Nesson debut went.
I thought it went well. Of course, as we both experienced, the 1-2-3 innings, the 1-2 pitch is pulled out to left, but foul. Of course, Colin, you and I both getting 1-2-3 innings, but still had enough time to have a good conversation with the two guys up there for Nesson, as those guys, professionals, know what they're talking about. I mean, I enjoyed it. Again, I think I may have mentioned, grew up watching Nesson. It's kind of been a dream of mine to be on there at some point or another. So certainly an exciting experience for me to be up there and enjoy that. Colin, I have to ask you the same thing now.
Yeah, it was good. It's tough to get into a flow quickly when you're up there and you have about 60 seconds.
As this ball hit by Malgeri going out to left. Gone. No. Yes. No. Caught. Sorry. It's very foggy and in the outfield. Cannot see too far. Good thing that was not on Nesson.
Yeah.
as we will refer to that likely throughout the broadcast. As Tyler Henry had a similar gaffe earlier this season. I think his first instance of play-by-play of the season against these YD Red Sox. The second game of the season, very first batter. Ball was hit into the outfield. It was caught by Press Kavanaugh, and he had called a home run. As this one's hit out by the batter in Hughes, that's going to get down. That is gone. There's your home run. Hal Hughes, a one-out home run to extend this Harwich lead, making it a 5-1 game.
What is with Hal Hughes against the YD Red Sox at White House Field? Same spot he hit that huge home run in 2019, and the bench is loving it. Dugout all out to greet him, cheering him on. Love seeing that power out of your 9-hole hitter. It's just a blast to watch Hal Hughes play for this Harwich Mariners team. He really has a flair for the dramatic.
He really does. I mean, he is just been a joy to watch for these Mariners this season as well as 2019. It's great to see guys come back and have success. And Hal Hughes has had nothing short of that this season. 1-1 pitch, or the first pitch to the new batter in Tatum Levens. Skips in the dirt. Levin's a guy who's come across the score twice so far in this game, as really throughout this lineup so far, I mean, kind of just the back half, haven't done too much aside from Hughes, but this top half of the lineup has been really excellent so far. As next pitch is in for a called strike, count here 1-1.
Yeah, and if you're YD, it's just a big blow right there after getting your first run and giving it right back on a huge swing.
As count now goes to 1-2. Two and 2 count after that pitch skips down in the dirt. And that just adds on to the story for the Mariners here tonight, where they're generating a lot of early offense, of course, in the fourth inning here, but offense coming in the first half of the game and adding on to a lead. As this ball hit on the ground, chopped, picked up by the pitcher Meter, throw on to first is in time for the out. And there's 2 down now in the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, finally able to get Levens out after reaching base his first 2 trips. Big bounce back out for YD after giving up the solo home run. It's never easy as a pitcher to bounce back after someone taking you deep, and good job there by Meter to get out a leadoff hitter in Levens, who's been so important to the Mariners and setting the table. But now, inning not over yet. Chris Newell, who's been swinging a hot bat late, steps in.
So as mentioned, Newell takes the first pitch he sees, hits it on the ground to the second baseman Hoffman. Throw on to first is in time to record the out. And that is the fourth inning. A Hal Hughes solo shot to left gives Harwich their 4-run lead back. They lead at 5-1. We move to the 5th inning. Welcome back to White House Field. Matt Liu leading off for the Red Sox. Dombrowski still on the mound for the Mariners. He's looked really nice, as he's got a couple of strikeouts to his name already today. Of course, we've talked plenty about his last outing against YD, 3 2/3 with 10 strikeouts. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Dombrowski ahead 1-2.
Yeah, now he's got that insurance once again, the 4-run insurance, thanks to Hal Hughes' solo blast. And he's looking to put himself in a position to pitch a win, or be in position for the win, I should say.
Charging in on the ball, hit out to center, is the center fielder in Newell. There's one down now in the top of the 5th.
7, the center fielder from University of Portland.
Looking towards the Mariners bullpen, I don't believe there's any action. Again, we have a bit of an obstructed view, and it's tough to tell down that left field line. Tim kind of picked up on it already, because it seems like everything's, since you've been here on the call, that's over for a strike.
Yeah, I mean, the home run, the non-home run, a lot of fouls. It's been tough going. Of course, we're not in our usual location, but we're making do with what we've got. 0-1 the count, a check swing. He did go around. That's Briley Knight at the plate for the Red Sox. He is behind here, 0-2 to Dombrowski. And Dombrowski, not a guy you want to fall behind 0-2. This ball hit, fouled off.
That's the thing also with these foul balls. There's like a lot of delayed reactions for the kids running after it, because you can't really see it because of the fog until you hear it hit the trees. And that's exactly what happened on that one.
0-2 pitch, misses down low. Count goes to 1-2. And I am so glad, Colin, that White House Field got a new scoreboard this year, because I cannot imagine the difficulties we may be having were at last year's scoreboard.
That's true. That's a really good point. Thank goodness for that.
As the 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Down goes Knight. Another strikeout for Trey Dombrowski. He has looked excellent so far.
Yeah, he certainly has. The strikeouts just keep on coming. I didn't even realize he had this strikeout stuff when we were looking at what he'd done at Monmouth this season. Really, really good. A lot of swings and misses, and maybe they should just have him pitch against YD every single time.
He has their number for certain, to this point, I should say. Anything can happen in the game of baseball, as this first pitch is fouled off.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's a good thing, because I think all 10 teams would have been able to get games in as we are right now, but not exactly the best day for CCBL action.
The ball back to make the catch, and there's 3 down in the 5th. We move now to the bottom of the 5th inning. Mariners back up in just a minute. Don't go too far. You're watching Harwich Mariners YouTube Network.
Wilkin.
The big righty and Brock Wilkin coming up the bat now for the Mariners, a guy who has had which is not completely unprecedented, I'm sure, but really rarely seen by freshmen in the Cape Cod Baseball League. I mean, this is a league that is primarily reserved for sophomores who are not draft eligible, as the first pitch dealt into him is a strike. But he has come in as a freshman out of Wake Forest, as we've acknowledged time and time again, and has had huge amounts of success for this Mariners squad, as the 0-1 pitch misses 1-1.
God, we are just trying to stay dry at this point. It really hasn't rained hard at all, but it's just been on and on and on that it's just accumulated. Now we got drops coming in off the backstop, and it's just a real messy night here in Harwich.
Certainly is. As Wilkin now facing a 2-1 count.
But in the end, it's all for a good cause with this game being put on Nesson.
Certainly so. Helps to grow these players' brands as the count now 2-2. Something that's so important for young athletes these days who are trying to make a name for themselves. Especially with the recent news coming out of the NCAA that players are allowed to profit off of their likenesses at this point, as the 2-2 pitch misses inside, count now runs full.
And full count, good hitters count for Wilkin. I mean, anytime pitcher's in a position where he's got to throw a strike to avoid a walk, it's a good count for Brock Wilkin.
3-2 outside. Brock Wilkin will take his base as he's on. Putz recently named the Harwich Mariners Player of the Week. Had a great stretch of games, going 3-13 over the last week or so. Couple of RBI to his name as well. Been a big part of the recent success for Harwich. And this is a Harwich team, Colin, that has had its success of late. Of course, they're still towards the bottom of the East Division. I mean, they sit just above Chatham as checking his swing is Putz, but it finds the zone nonetheless, 1-1. It's a Harwich team that has only lost one of its last 5 games. They are 2-1-2, picking up points in 4 of their last 5 games, and you feel like this team is starting to put it together.
Certainly are, and this right tonight looks like a step in the right direction as well so far, as that one chopped outside of third. But you know, they just need to start winning games against Eastern teams. I know we talked about it on, it seems like every broadcast for the last week, because they just kind of had issues against the East, specifically the YD Red Sox. If they can just start getting those victories and edging out those close games, then there's no reason that this Mariners team can't compete for a playoff spot.
And this game in particular being so big, of course, coming into today 0-2 against YD as Putz fouls one off. You want to be able to pick up a win against a team that's top of the division who didn't play yesterday. So you picked up a point on them yesterday. And now you're facing off against them today with a chance to inch closer to where they sit atop the East. Of course, still plenty of season left after today, but you want to start picking up points sooner rather than later while it's still in your hands. It's a 1-2 count here to Carter Putz. Ball finds its way outside the zone. Count now 2-2. Footing really earlier this season against Katuitt got called due to field conditions as this pitch brushes Putz off the plate a bit. It was the infield, I believe it was, that was a bit too damp, a bit too soft for the players to play on. Umpires ultimately making that ruling, I believe, midway through the 8th inning as the Mariners came up to bat. Game ended effectively an inning short. Should Harwich have held on to the lead. It's the 3-2 pitch, runner goes line. Going for third is Brock Wilkin, and sliding into second with a no-out double is Carter Putz. He'll crack the pepper as he stands on safely.
Yeah, just a perfectly executed hit and run. Wilkin off and running on the full count pitch. Good job of hitting by Putz, going the other way with that one, right down the right field line. Wilkin easily into third, and how about the hustle from Putz, diving headfirst into second base safely, picking up a double, and here come the Mariners threatening once again, just like we saw in the first inning. Great job of leading off the inning, and now it's paying its dividends already.
Seen it games, and it has really just been being followed up on by these Mariners here tonight. They're actually able to continue the success that they have. Oh, and Wilkins picked off at third as he tried to head down to home. Wilkin now runs back to third, but Putz is standing there. And so Putz going to cut the losses for the Mariners. He will stand on third and effectively telling his base running teammate Brock Wilkins, sorry, buddy, I'm on third now.
Yeah, that's a heads-up play, in my opinion, for Putz. I mean, it's a tough situation. It's a 98% chance that Wilkins dead in that rundown, so you might as well take advantage of it, move up 90 feet. So once he's out, you still have a runner at third with one away. A good job of kind of limiting the damage in a bad situation, but ultimately, if you're Wilkin, can't get picked off third in that situation.
Zach Putz to advance. So on second. A base hit likely would have brought in 2 runs. Now you have Jordan Beck looking to drive in 1.
Yeah, right now, you just got to bring that run home. YD's willing to let that run score on a ground ball. The infield playing at normal depth. So if you're Beck, just try to put one in play, make something happen. Even a fly ball will be deep enough to bring home Carter putts. That one, by the way, if there was no fence there, I just want to make. I my pre. I'll make it one last point about that story. Tweeted at me. Yeah, I'm not exactly the Nolan Arenado of making plays on foul balls.
His teammate Preisner at the plate, hoping to drive him around.
Couldn't quite get that curveball to come back, although it had a lot of good movement. Jacobs has come in and settled down a lot after giving up that rough start to the inning. Now he's one pitch away from getting out of it, but full count.
Wyatt Hoffman batting here for YD. And Colin, put your scorebook away.
I'm doing my best here. I refuse to go down without a fight against the weather.
Trey Dombrowski continues here for the Mariners. Top of the 6th. He's had a stretch of success here. Don't have his official strikeout count. We know he was at 6 at one point. I believe he's gotten 1 or 2 more. Perhaps we'll go to sideline reporter Tyler Henry. Tyler, how many strikeouts does Trey have? As this ball hit over to Preisner, he'll pick it up on a hop, throw on the Putz at first. He was off the bag, and then as he tried to apply the tag, dropped the ball. So the runner is safe on first for YD.
Yeah, 8 strikeouts on the day so far for Trey Dombrowski, and he's had everything working for him so far.
He has. Thank you, Tyler Henry, on the sideline report as we look to update you with numbers as best we can tonight. Of course, you can follow along with stats on the Point Streak Live. The official scorers always keep a live feed of each play and the scoring, each player's stats. New batter in for YD. He's got a runner on first. First pitch is in at 74 for a called strike from Dombrowski.
Yeah, I'm looking across the way at the YD broadcast. They're going.
Pick off over at first is no good. No, not an easy night to broadcast baseball for certain, unless you are on Nesson. It's an 0-1 count. Dombrowski staring down first. Ball is popped up, tailing towards right. Underneath it is Beck to make the catch. And one down in the...
Ended up ruling that a hit, by the way, so they kind of gave credit to the runner.
The right fielder from Long Beach
all
State,
things considered, a good bounce back from Dombrowski. It'd be nice to see him get through 6 full and put his team in a really good position to win this ball game against an Eastern team that's given them a lot of trouble this year.
Pick off back to first. No good again. New batter in for YD. Dombrowski. He delivers. Bunt laid down. Dombrowski charges out, picks it up, turns, throws to first. Pulled Putz off the bag, and as he made the hop to catch the ball, that was the moment when the YD runner tagged the base, it seemed. So Putz was off it for all but half a second. And that is when the runner for YD crossed the bag. So now you have runners on first and second for YD. And head coach for Harwich, Steve Englert, out to have a conversation about that one.
Yeah, I think he just wanted an explanation, clarification. I think they did make the right call. I mean, it was just a fraction of a second where Putz went to switch his feet, but that's all it took. And on such a close play, they're actually going to go ahead and discuss this one. I mean, it was a really close play. I don't know if there's any way they can overturn it. Yeah, and they're going to go ahead and call him safe. Just one of those awkward situations where you can't really get your foot in a good position. But credit to the bunt there. Really well placed, forcing a tough play. And now all of a sudden, YD threatening with 1 down.
And you have, of course, the lefty, too, in Dombrowski. So if he's facing the Mariners' dugout over towards third, he has to do more of a rotation to try and get the ball over to first. So it's certainly a nicely placed bunt. As this ball misses on the first pitch to the new batter for YD, 1-0.
That's Pascal Ferreras at the plate looking to keep this thing going, keep the line moving. Base hit, more than likely could bring home a run.
Next pitch misses down low. Dombrowski trying to be careful with Ferreras here. He's behind in the count, 2-0.
There's a right-handed arm warming for Harwich, so the end of the line probably nearing for Dombrowski. But no matter what happens, it's another outstanding pitching performance from the Monmouth lefty.
And that was, as this ball bounces in the dirt, McKeithen charges out. Runners will stay on first and second. That was one of the questions coming into today was, okay, we've seen how Dombrowski has played when he's come in a release situation, and of course he had that. It was a short stint against YD last time around, 3 2/3, but an efficient one at that, as pitching coach Steve Gruenberg comes out to the mound to have a conversation with him. Dombrowski behind in the count 3-0. But we've seen an emergence here, I think, of Dombrowski where he's come out. It's a different mentality you have to have as a pitcher coming in to start a game as opposed to coming in to relieve a pitcher in a game. So for him to have, I'm not assuming he may have had nerves as a starter, for him to come in, know he's going to be the starter all day long, and then have the success that he's had is something that this Mariners team is looking for right now. They're looking for starting depth to try to figure out roles for these guys. I mean, we've seen some roles settled so far. You know, you have a guy in Owen Cody who's looked really solid out of the pen when it comes down to a tight game of the ninth inning. I have to imagine we'll see him in that spot again going forward. And you have Dombrowski now, who has just been lights out as he does walk the batter in Ferreras. He has gone to this point 5 1/3 innings. That's what Harwich is looking for, these 5-6 innings outings.
Yeah, they're looking for really good. Against Tanner Smith, who is definitely a danger. Yeah, ball just gets away from McKeith, and he got skipped into the dirt. Good positioning, and sure enough, brings home a run. Time now.
Runners in scoring position now. Everybody advanced on that ball that got away to the backs. Not in time.
A run does come in, but this next out really, you don't want it to become a one-run game at this point, and Drew Bowser is a great opportunity here at the plate.
Pitch. First to record the out. got.
One pitch, one on this game
Now batting for
for
Harwich
start
Mariners.
as far. This is interesting. You don't see this too often where the manager comes out. Nice.
I didn't realize that's how that worked tonight. I think. Check. Test.
11.
Levels. Thank you for joining us here at field level. Tim Foley and Colin Casey calling the bottom of the sixth after a pitching change for YD. And Colin, who is it that's on the mound now for YD?
Yeah, it is the Florida State left-hander Ross Dunn, who is a teammate of Harwich Mariner Brandon Walker. And so it's out here, got a runner on first with 2 down, looking to keep things going and try to add to insurance as YD's closed the gap here late in this one, count now 2-0.
And for a quick sideline report, we're going to go here for Tyler Henry. Tyler?
Yep, had a chance to visit with the YD broadcasters. This is the only left-handed pitcher in the bullpen for the YD Red Sox, and he throws some heat. Fastball coming between 93 to 94, good off-speed stuff as well. There you see him blow the fastball right by the batter. And in addition to all of that, you mentioned probably this before, but as a member of Florida State, a teammate of Harwich Mariner, Brandon Walker.
Thanks for the intel, Tyler. So a flamethrower on the mound for YD. Interesting to have the one lefty in the bullpen, as we have a lefty on lefty matchup now with Tatum Levens at the plate for Harwich. I mean, how do you think, Colin, that ultimately affects the way a team kind of operates with having just one lefty in your bullpen?
Yeah, it can be a bit of a challenge because you don't have those matchups, especially against a lefty-heavy batting order, but you got to just get guys out no matter what the matchup is.
Ball popped up softly. It's playable, however, for the third baseman for YD. He'll make the catch, and the inning ends. So a quick stint of relief here in the bottom of the sixth for Dunn. We'll move now to the top of the seventh inning. Harwich still leading 5-3 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Top of the seventh inning, Trey Dombrowski back out there for the Harwich Mariners. Colin Casey joined by Tim Foley. Calling this one out here in the consistent, persistent mist we've had throughout this game, but Mariners still out on top, surviving the weather and the Red Sox surge so far after putting up 2 runs in the top of inning number 6. Here comes the 0-1 from Dombrowski, hit in the air. Just behind the mound, Dombrowski backs off, calling off and making the catch. Over at third is Brock Wilkin, and it's a quick out number 1 to begin the 7th.
I mean, that's what you need if you're Dombrowski still on the mound for Harwich. You need to stay efficient. Last inning wasn't the cleanest you've put out so far this season, and so I imagine at this point he's got a bit of a short leash, but that quick out there is certainly helping his cause.
Now he'll face the heart of the order after retiring Wyatt Hoffman to begin the inning.
Nathan
Here
Baez.
is Nathan Baez pinch hitting in the 3-hole here, the Arizona State Sun Devil. So Baez bats the bases empty and 1 out here at the top of the 7th. Dombrowski trying to go 7 strong innings, giving up 3 runs. I don't know how many of them have been earned. The first one wasn't, and I don't think the second was either, as that pitch is over for a strike. So I want to say he's only given up 1 earned tonight.
I mean, even still, he's really had his stuff going. It's just been an excellent outing for him, as we've said time and time again.
0-1 is swung on and missed for a strike 2. Actually, I think both last inning were, in fact, earned because they called both of those plays where the foot came off the bag hits. So I believe it's 3 runs in, 2 of them earned so far on 6 hits for Dombrowski on the mound. Here comes the 0-2, and just misses outside of Baez.
I mean, even still, those are some 50-50 balls that just don't go your way. They're ruled hits, but as a pitcher, he's still just looked excellent out there. He's done a lot for this team throughout this outing, giving his defense chances to make plays and help record outs.
2-2 count to Baez, who comes in hitting .250. No homers, 4 RBIs, but only has 1 hit in his last 13 at-bats. 2-2 is ripped foul off to the left. One clanked off the storage bin where a lot of the training staff's equipment is stored here at White House Field. And 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors committed by the YD Red Sox in this one. The 2-2 popped up down the right field line. Carter putts, scrambling over in foul territory. He can't make the play. It's a foul ball.
Tough to track that one, trailing it through the mist. Finally comes down near that YD dugout, but Putz overshooting it a bit, and hard to blame him with the conditions that are here. I mean, typically on a clear night when you have the lights on, the lights typically will help you out, but when you have so much mist in the air that's all catching the light, it may actually make it more difficult to try and track where a ball is. I have to imagine if this were a more clear night, that would have been a much easier catch for Putz to make.
Dombrowski's 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Trey Dombrowski continuing his strong performance on the mound. I believe that's his 9th strikeout and the 2nd out of the top of the 7th.
20, the 3rd baseman from Oklahoma, Peyton Graham.
So Peyton Graham gets a chance here. There's actually a correction. I was looking at the wrong side of the order. Now it's the top of the order due up, so it was 8, 9, and 1 to start the inning. It's tough to really tell at this point when your away side of your scorebook is just completely swamped as the first pitch misses high from Dombrowski to Graham. A 1-0. High pop-up. Over by second. Backing up, backpedaling. In comes Beck. He calls off the play, and it's caught. I'm not sure how it was, but eventually was, as Hal Hughes kind of lunging at the last second, catches it before it hits the grass, and we head into the 7th inning stretch. The Mariners lead at 5-3 at White House Field. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners Radio YouTube network. Seventh from White House Field. Lead it 5-3. In the first win against the YD Red Sox. This third of 6. 2 more at Red Wilson Field and another here in Harwich. Of course, these two teams faced off in the Eastern Finals, 2019 CCBL playoffs, where the Mariners won in 2 games, sweeping the Red Sox. Here is Chris Newell to lead things off. 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for the M's. Newell 1 for 3. Singled came around to score in the first, but has since grounded out twice. Arrived a little later as the Cavaliers made a pretty deep play. That basketball program for Virginia is the one that's gotten all the attention, but they also have a really quality base.
Virginia baseball program over there is really the ACC, a really strong conference when it comes to baseball.
0-2 the count.
A couple other on this Harwich squad, and Wilkin, Josh Hood now.
There's a line drive ripped foul off to the left. Yeah, it seems like it's a common denominator with a lot of Harwich Mariners teams, a lot of ACC guys, some guys also from the SEC as well. But it's really cool to see on the Cape guys from all over the country, all these different schools, big and small, making a name for themselves here on the Cape. The 0-2 swung on and fouled to the backstop.
No, and that's what's so great, I think, about the Cape in a lot of regards, because you'll have guys from like a mid-major school, not a Power 5, who find their way here to the Cape one way or another. They know a coach, they have good numbers, they have to have a lot go right for them if you're not in a Power 5, and they blow guys out of the water.
0-2 swung on and missed. Down goes Chris Newell on strikes, and that will begin the home half of the 7th. 1 down, and Brock Wilkin to the plate.
I mean, take what Dombrowski's been doing today, for an example. A guy who's pitching over at Monmouth, a program that not exactly renowned around the country, but he has arguably been one of the better pitchers for the Mariners this season, especially of late with the departure of Shawver and Sinicola. So he has just been fantastic, and I think it really goes to show that there are dudes at every level of the game, no matter where you play.
First swung on. We haven't. It seems like we have talked so much about every single broadcast, and Brock Wilkin reaching base all 3 times today. Scored in the first after walking, doubled in a run in the second, and he rips this one out to center field. It will fall in for a hit. His second of the game. He has reached base all 4 times now, and with 1 away, the Mariners.
What else can you say? I said it earlier in the broadcast, this is largely a sophomore league. You hardly see that many freshmen. So for Brock Wilkin to be coming in here and doing what he's doing as a freshman, not draft eligible until 2023, is absurd. I mean, it's entirely possible we may see him back here again next year as a Mariner, going into his junior year at that point, because he's now going into his sophomore year. So, I mean, even still the rest of this season, somebody to keep watching.
First pitch to Carter Putz is who's certainly made a name for himself with the Mariners, and made a name for himself tonight. Putz 2 for 3, single and an RBI, and then he doubled in his last trip in the left-hander done. Ball in the dirt. In front.
Another run across. Get back.
Wilkin is lead off first and done with rethink things. Sun comes set. Now the pitch. Swung on, fouled off and out of play. Again, the Eastern Division tightly contested. YD coming in atop, winners of their last 3 games. But things can change in a matter of 48 hours, really, with how tightly contested all 5 teams have been throughout the season, whereas on the other side in the West, Bourne has run away with that division lead, but still a good battle for that second and final playoff spot. The 1-2 misses high.
Yeah, it really is a race for second out there at this point. Of course, as we've said before, and we'll likely say again, anything could happen down the stretch. You lose guys, perhaps born to the draft. Maybe you're losing a couple guys up here, not sure of the numbers, but it's a different season after this next week where teams' rosters will be pretty set.
2-2 in the dirt, count now full, and it's really a 3-team race for that second spot because things just not going well once again for the Gatemen as they dropped today's game, nobody in action. That's a lost opportunity to make up ground with them being the only Western team playing today. And just things going from bad to worse, falling further and further out of the playoff picture. The 3-2 just misses inside, ball 4. Carter putts, reaches via walk. The Mariners have 2 on with 1 away.
And this is a good sign for the Mariners. You're
21, the right fielder from
finding
Tennessee,
consistency not only throughout the lineup, but throughout the game as well. You know, we've seen it where Harwich will score early and then they won't score again, or they'll score in the middle of the game, but they don't really have any early or late offense. So good to see that they're continuing to get guys on and move them around a bit. But this is a really big at-bat for Beck. Again, a guy who we've talked about is still looking to break out in a big spot here to really help his team try and extend a lead against an opponent they're chasing after in the East.
Beck 1 for 3 with an RBI single, but he's also struck out twice. First pitch in the dirt. Nice job by Huff tonight, keeping a lot of these breaking balls in the dirt. Can be a little bit tougher as a catcher, especially when it's damp out, trying to keep the ball in front of you, slipping around back there as we got a mound visit coming. There is a right-hander warming, and we're going to see him come in. So mid-at-bat, just 1 pitch from Ross Dunn to Jordan Beck, and his night is over. Right-hander coming in for YD. We'll tell you about him on the other side of the break. You're watching Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 7th, I should say, here from White House Field. Pitching change to tell you about the YD Red Sox. Going back to the bullpen, and this time they will go with a local man, and that is University of Connecticut's Andrew Marrero. Marrero, 5'10", $189. The right-hander will be tasked with facing Jordan Beck with a 1-0 count. Marrero on the season, 0-1 with a 6.23 ERA in 4 appearances. He's pitched 4 1/3, so he's only been kind of a 1 inning at a time guy, Tim. So I think his job really is just to get 2 outs and get the Red Sox on to the next inning, still trailing by 2.
It's a big spot to do that. Even if you expect them to just get these 2 outs for you and then you try to figure it out from there. If he can do that for you, that's so big with Harwich having 2 on with just 1 out. This game is still within reach if you're YD, so don't lose sight of that and keep your head in the game. Big spot here for Guerreros.
Apologize for any potential technical difficulties throughout this game as we continue to work through those, and hopefully later on this weekend we can get things going back in the right direction, as it seems like we've been taking detour after detour when it comes to that. But we're optimistic as Beck just about to step back into the batter's box with a 1-0 count. Brock Wilkins standing at second, Carter Putz at first.
I mean, you talk about coming into a tight situation already with 2 on and 1 out.
Once again,
you come into a tight at bat here where you're already behind 1-0. I mean, of course, it's not as though it's a 3-0 count, but even still to be behind it, it gives the batter Beck a lot more freedom early in the at bat here to try and challenge this new pitcher.
Play back on. Andrew Marrero looking in for the signs. And he comes set. Here's the 1-0. 83-mile-an-hour off speed does not get the zone. As it stands, Trey Dombrowski, who's pitched 7 innings, allowing 3 runs, in line for the victory. Zach Franklin, who was unable to record an out, gave up 3 earned. Saddled with a loss should the score hold. Count 3-0 to Beck, and you'd have to think he's got the take sign on here.
Yeah, I mean, these pitches coming from Guerreros hasn't looked entirely close. They've been pretty easy for Beck to lay off of, so definitely going to force Guerreros to try and throw a strike here. We'll see what Beck does.
Zach Preisner due up next. 3-0. Fastball, he swings away and hits it down the right field line. It's carrying towards foul territory. And the sliding catch, no, he's unable to come up with it. Luttrell goes crashing into the fence. Hopefully he's all right. He gets up pretty quickly. Got a great jump on that ball, and I think he might have had his glove on it, but he couldn't come down with it. And a bit of a break there for Beck with an aggressive 3-0 swing and almost ends up fouling out.
No, that was a good attempt at what would have been a big out by Luttrell. He had a good pace on it, as you said, just almost overshot it, I want to say, with the slide, because he sort of ran into the fence just before it came down. And so kind of threw off the timing with his glove just a hair as he was sliding to try and make the catch.
Count now 3-1. Couple of big insurance runs on base for the Mariners. Pitch to Beck, misses inside, and there is ball 4. So they have him loaded with 1 down, and Zach Preisner with a huge opportunity to break this one open in the 7th.
Number 18, the shortstop.
Yeah, Preisner still trying to break out here. 0 for 3 on the day with a strikeout, but a good opportunity here in the bottom of the 7th. With the bases loaded, only 1 out. Ball into the outfield gets you a sac fly.
Preisner 0 for 3 today, but has a huge chance to be the hero now. First pitch in for a called strike. If you're just joining us, the Mariners jumping out to a 3-0 lead early on, putting 5 straight base runners on. Picked up another run via an RBI double from Brock Wilken in the 2nd, and Hal Hughes with a solo home run in the 4th inning. At the time, putting the Mariners on top 5-1 before YD was able to get a couple of runs back. The 0-1. Marrero unable to locate it.
Guerrero's pitching from the stretch right now, but his windup on when he's pitching from the windup, it's a little funky. He does this sort of 2-tap with his right foot, I want to say, and then he finally comes in and delivers.
1-1, swung on and missed. Got him with the off speed, and Marrero's in good shape. Count now 1-2.
And it's so tough for these batters too right now as we see Preisner literally taking the bat and rubbing it off on his pants, trying to get it to be as dry as possible. So if he makes contact with that ball, it comes off as squarely as possible without slipping.
The 1-2. Breaking ball in there, called strike 3. Preisner goes down looking, and a big out number 2 for the Red Sox as they look to get out of the jam. And they'll have to do so against Aaron McKeithen, the catcher, who is 0 for 2 with a sac fly.
That was a really, really nice put-out pitch there against Preisner as 80 miles per hour on the outside part of the plate. It's a big pitch to make. Of course, Preisner already not having so much success, but even still, a really nice strikeout pitch there from Guerrero.
First pitch. Breaking ball outside. Keithan had that sac fly in the first inning, bringing home the 3rd run of the contest for Harwich. Since then, he's popped out a couple of times. So trying to get on top of one here. Ground ball through the infield, very likely to score 2. The runner's going on contact. Herrera's 1-0. That's in for a strike.
And we do see that a lot from McKeithen. He gets underneath balls. He's got some pop to him. I believe he was a extra base hitter, a bit of a slugger over at Charlotte. So not surprised to see that he has a tendency to get under him here.
The 1-1. There's a drive into left field, back to the wall, and it will hang up and be caught just at the wall. Oh, we needed another 5 feet to extend this lead by 4, but instead the inning is over. The Mariners lead 3. Exhale for YD. We head to the 8th. Harwich 5, Red Sox 3. You're watching Mariners Baseball, Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Here at White House Field, but not before. He was putting his team in a position to win. Gave up 3 runs, but only 2 of them were earned. And Tim, just another step in the right direction from the left.
No, it's good for so many reasons. A, just for Dombrowski himself, his draft stock, and his confidence as well as a player. He's able to succeed in a league like this, and he's going to take that back to him to school and have a lot of success. And so now, as well for Harwich, you have a guy who you can rely on as a regular guy in your lineup, as we now have Rayo on the mound from Notre Dame.
Alex Rayo, the right-hander. See if he gets both the 8th and the 9th, but 1 inning at a time. He'll be greeted by Wyatt Hoffman. 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for YD. First pitch, Hoffman swings and misses for a strike. Count even 1-1.
This is what you need. You know, your starter was able to give you 7 solid innings. Now with bullpen in a 2-inning game, a good start to this at bat from Rayo.
Count. Instead of for the Mariners making the home run derby out at Coors Field. The 2-2 misses up and in. How about for YD? Two-time Cape League Series champion Buster Posey with a really big bounce back year, the starting catcher in the NL, his 7th All-Star appearance. A guy who's certainly well on his way to Cooperstown. 3-2, swung on in a foul tip. As Rayo starts Hoffman off with the strikeout. Mariners out the way victory.
Yeah, nice job there by Rayo. That at bat started to get away from him a little bit as he was ahead 1-2 and then ended up falling behind in a full count, but a nice put out pitch to record that first out.
From side. Catcher. Dish. 1-0. Just below the knees. Rayo sitting at 90 with that fastball. Get it up there a little bit. Can really catch up. Can be really hard to catch up to if you're a YD hitter. The 2-0. It's over for a strike. Of course, Tyler Henry and I were a little bit spoiled in 2019 when we saw Joe Boyle out there pumping 98, 99, and occasionally 100 miles an hour. 92 still can be tough to catch up to, especially if you're going from a guy who has a fastball in the upper 80s. It might be a couple miles an hour, but it can certainly make a difference in terms of timing.
No, it certainly does. Like a few ticks of a second, and that's the difference between a ball hit into center and a foul sliced back or ball popped up in the sky.
Count now full. And when you say ticks of a second, it's almost like milliseconds can really be the difference. I mean, a hard fastball comes in quicker than the blink. It really is just a test the hitters are in this league to be able to catch up to it as the payoff pitch is fouled straight back out of play. Remember a couple of weeks ago, Rafael Devers was able to turn around a 100-mile-an-hour Garrett Cole fastball and send it over the bullpens at Fenway. So hard to be able to square up a pitch coming in that hard. The 3-2 pitch misses outside and Buff able to draw a one-out walk. That'll bring the tying run to the plate in the top of the 8th.
Now batting for the Red Sox, number 6.
That
the
tying run
Long Beach State, Chase
represented
Luttrell.
by Long Beach State's Chase Luttrell, the right fielder.
And you talk about pitchers being able to throw like that and, batters having a tough time squaring it up. Scouts are watching that. As a batter, who's going to be able to catch up to those kinds of pitches that are faster than what's been being thrown at your team all night long? That can make or break a scouting report at times.
Luttrell watches a first pitch ball. Mariners scheduled to Cavaliers tomorrow afternoon at Bullpen Park. Weather forecast not looking too promising for that 5 o'clock first pitch. That foul tipped in the mid. Because of the foul ball, even if it were around this time, there would not have been a recorded. The count is 1-1. Looking too hot with the defending 8-time who clinched it. Park. In fact, I believe it's the only game at Lowell Park between those two teams. The Hats
certainly is. They got a fantastic ballpark over there in Katuitt. Really excellent facilities.
And a really passionate fan base as well. Those Kettleer fans, very committed. The 1-2 hit on the ground to second. Hughes will go the short way to second for one. On to first. Not in time. So they get the lead runner in the second out of the inning as Huff trots back to the dugout. Over to first is Chase Luttrell. 2 away. Knocked down. Final 4 outs.
Might have been with that last play what we saw earlier in the game with Putz being pulled off the bag for a half a second. He was for just a millisecond as the runner for YD just got down to the bag. So perhaps the YD runner just beating it out, but another moment there where Putz was not on the bag for the entire duration of his catch.
So here is Pascanel Ferreras. Watches the first pitch miss outside. The shortstop in this one, he played a little bit third base as well. But Peyton Graham over at third, batting leadoff in this game. Ferreras watches one just outside 2-0. Luttrell takes his lead off first. 2-0. In tight, 3-0.
I mean, the batter now for YD represents the tying run. There's 2 outs in the inning, but you really don't want to let them get on this easy.
There's a 3-0. That one is right down the beach. For the Red Sox, they will continue to be on the road tomorrow as there's a ground ball to third, glove down by Wilkin, hesitates, throws on to first, and the inning is over. So it's a clean top of the 8th inning for the Mariners with Alex Mayo. And we head to the home now. The Mariners try to tack on some insurance. They beat it 5-3 at White House Field. You're watching Mariners on our Mariners YouTube network. Home half of the 8th. The Mariners lead at 5-3. They'll look to get some insurance in the form of their 8-9-1 hitters, Ben Malgeri, Hal Hughes, and Tatum Levins all due up. Malgeri looking to reach base for the first time in this one. He put a charge into one earlier in the 4th inning, but just didn't get enough of it. Also struck out and grounded out a part of his 0-for-3 performance. And once again on the mound, Andrew Marrero, the Yukon Red, working from the wind-up, his first pitch. It's fouled straight back.
Yeah, Malgeri, as you said, 0 for 3, but he's got a really nice approach at the plate. He'll battle, and he will find something that he eventually likes, and he's been a great contributor to these Mariners all season long.
0-1, Malgeri hits it on the ground. It's a fair ball inside a third. Going to be a tough play. The throw pulls him off the bag at first, so Bowser couldn't keep it on. Malgieri is in for safely, and they're going to give him a base hit, so he is now 1 for 4.
I mean, rightfully so. His speed,
Now batting for your
that's the
Harwich
same
Mariners,
speed.
number 19,
That's the
the
same
second
level
baseman
of
from Rice,
effort that we saw from him
Hughes.
last night in Wareham that helped to tie the game for Harwich. I mean, Malgieri beating out a throw to first, I believe, helped keep the game alive, and he ultimately came home to score. So a huge part for the Mariners, and he continues to show why with that base hit.
So here is Hal Hughes, who has had an outstanding game offensively. Struck out, belted a homer to left, and singled in the home half of the sixth. A quick throw over, a good one, but back with a dive is Malgieri. Malgieri definitely someone who can run. Stole a bag in yesterday's game. He's got a pretty big lead off of first, and another throw over. He's back with a dive. Yeah, YD will be in Falmouth tomorrow, take on the Commodores. Well-rested Falmouth team. Right in the thick of things in the West. Falmouth, of course, in 2019 ended their season on an absolute tear before they were unable to solve the eventual champion Kettleers. Sometimes that's how it is. You get hot a little bit too early and go cold in the playoffs. Malgieri running. The throw down is past him into center field. It only gets a couple of feet away from the shortstop, Ferreras, and he is into second safely.
I think it hit him. I think that ball hit Malgieri going down to second. It seemed to just bounce off to the right, and I don't think that the fielder for YD was close enough to field that ball. So Malgieri getting a lucky break on the errant throw from the catcher, and he now stands on second with no outs.
RBI chance for Hughes. 0-1 the count. Marrero looks in. YD bullpen is active. Remember, Marrero, not a guy who can really go too deep. He's only gone about 1 inning at a time throughout his summer thus far, but he's ahead in the count now, 0-2 to Hughes.
And that's just important as well. We talk about stretching out starters to try and get them to fill up more innings. You need bullpen guys to be reliable for stretches as well. So a big spot here for Guerrero to kind of prove what he's got over multiple innings.
Jerry leads off second. Got a pretty big one as he's loosely held on by the second baseman, Wyatt Huffman. And Guerrero will just step off and kind of kick into that mound, which has certainly been eroded this evening with the consistent mist that's been plaguing White House Field on an otherwise comfortable evening, at least temperature-wise. Temperature starting to drop a little bit towards the end of this one. The 0-2, breaking ball called strike 3. Wow, that one looked like it might have been below the knees, but Hughes does not get the benefit of the doubt, and there's your first out at the bottom of the 8th inning.
For your Harwich
Yeah,
Mariners,
tough call for
number 2,
Hughes
the DH
as he
Tatum.
relays something over to Levens.
Maybe the fact that wasn't even close, but that's just my opinion. So here's Tatum Levens, who bats for the 5th time in this game. Reached base his first 2 trips, once via singles, came into score, and he walked and came down to score in the second. Since then, he grounded out and popped out in the 4th and 6th, respectively. Guerrero comes set. A look at Malgieri on second. The pitch. Fastball over for a strike. It'll be a real important insurance run for Harwich. For whoever pitches the 8th, whether it's Rayo or another arm potentially. Pick-off move, a close play, the tag just late. Malgieri back with a dive. Certainly playing with fire over at second base. I mean, it looks like he's poised to run every time he takes a lead.
Yeah, most certainly, but I mean, he's got to be careful. Harwich already has one picked off in this game, so these Mariner base runners need to be cautious, especially in a late game where an insurance run could mean a lot come the top of the 9th.
The 0-1. Slider misses down and in. Crowd certainly is thinned out here at White House. I'm sure trying to stay dry this evening, but at first pitch, there was a really good crowd on hand, and that'll happen when you're one of two teams in action, the other one being about a half hour down the road in Hyannis Harbor. 1-1 misses outside.
Yeah, you got a lot of Eastern teams fans coming out. A lot of Eastern team broadcasters as well.
Yeah.
As our very own Tyler Henry was on the YD call as their broadcasters were up doing their Nesson debut, not with one of the YD broadcasters, but as a pickoff attempt is unsuccessful back to second, but with a Brewster broadcaster who was in the area watching the game.
Yeah, I'm sure some Red Sox fans were really confused when they tuned in. Like, they get new broadcasters? Do they fire their usual guys? But yeah, really cool to see a couple of broadcasters from different teams kind of develop some chemistry over an inning, and it was an eventful inning as well. That was the inning that Hal Hughes deposited one over the left field fence. The 2-1. Fastball misses, and Levens looking to draw his second walk of the game ahead in the count. Chris Newell waits in the on-deck circle. Marrero trying to get some grip. And he's going to take a minute and right on cue, looking to get some rosin. He looks in. And comes set. The 3-1. Check swing. They said they're going to appeal, actually, and said he held up. So Levens does, in fact, draw the walk. Third time he's reached base. Runners at first and second now with one down.
And Levens lucky he got the benefit of the doubt there. We've seen it all too often. That's a long walk to pick your bat up once you flip it to the dugout if you think you got that call ball 4, but he did get the call there, was able to check his swing.
So 2 on, 1 away. Chris Newell steps in. Singled came around to score in the first. Grounded out in the second and fourth. Struck out swinging in the seventh. Marrero's first offering. In at the knees for a called strike. Mariners also looking to improve to 5-2 at home this season. White House Field has been real kind to them. 0-1, waved at and missed. He's behind a fastball. Of course, one of the two losses coming to YD here. The other coming to Bourne. So the two division leaders, the only one successful at White House Field this season.
Yeah, Harwich has been a tough team to beat at home. It's just something about the comfort of being able to go through your routine at home that has especially benefited these Mariners this season.
0-2, swing and miss, strike 3. As Newell not happy with himself. He strikes out swinging on 3 pitches. Marrero recording a big punch out 2-away with Brock Wilkin coming to the plate.
Brock Wilkin.
Wilkin has reached all 4 times he's gone to the plate in this one. Walked, came around to score in the first, doubled in a run in the second, walked in the 5th, was picked off at 3rd, and singled and was stranded at 3rd in the 7th. So he has certainly put his stamp on this game. Looking to close the book, potentially, with one swing of the bat. First pitch, breaking ball away. One way or the other, it seems like he has impacted the outcome of every Mariners game this season, whether it be in the field with a nice defensive play like we saw yesterday, or whether it be his power with the home run he also hit yesterday. But here he chases after a breaking ball in the dirt.
I think that's an aspect of his game that's come along a bit as the season's gone along, is his fielding over at 3rd. He made a nice throw earlier on a dart to 1st. Because he had the bat coming in. Like, that was known. Of course, we've mentioned it a trillion times. Home run record over at Wake Forest. He's had the bat, but he's done some good things in the field as well.
Yeah, that home run record you mentioned, 17 home runs as a freshman, a pro record for the Demon Deacons. Deacons, and he is the youngest player on this Harwich Mariners roster. Certainly doesn't play like it, and certainly doesn't sound like it in that dugout. I mean, he's been a really vocal leader for this team since his arrival on the Cape. The 2-1 pitch. Fastball misses inside, a bluff on the throw from Huff. He just fires it back to his pitcher. 3-1 count. Mariners have left 7 runners on base, including bases loaded last inning. Left a pair run in that 3-run first inning as well. The 3-1 just misses for ball 4, and the bases are going to be loaded with 2 away for Carter Putz.
Now batting for your Harwich Mariners.
Big spot for
22,
Putz.
the first baseman for
I mean,
Notre Dame,
Putz today,
Carter Putz.
he's had some success. He's gotten on 3 times. Looking to do so again here in a good spot here to put his team up by 3 or more.
There's an arm warming in the Mariners bullpen. Can't exactly tell who from our vantage point, but I wonder if Rayo will get a chance to pitch in the ninth. But that could all change depending on how many runs are scored this inning. If bases loaded, 2 down. First pitch to Putz. Misses low.
Because you think about your options if you're Harwich. I mean, Carson Seymour, I think literally just left today.
Right.
And then you have Owen Cody, who has been excellent for you, but he pitched last night. So I'm not sure if you want to go back to him again tonight. Perhaps you give a guy like Brandon Walker another chance to show what he's got on the mound.
The outside called strike. Danny Wilkinson, another guy who was unavailable after pitching yesterday. So options are a bit limited. You also got to include guys who might have pitched on Monday, but you did have the off day, so that certainly alleviated the depth in the bullpen for this game. Breaking ball misses down and away. A guy that might have gone on Monday, like Eric Raiselman, could be available. But he also pitched pretty deep into that game in several innings in his Harwich Mariners debut. Struck out a ton of batters.
Yeah, 6 over 2 2/3 from Raiselman.
The 2-1. Fastball swung on and missed. Putz thought he missed one there. Might have been a little too much, though. The count is even 2-2. Fog starting to creep back in. It's been lingering all game out in the outfield. It hasn't gotten to a point where visibility has been a concern. Arrow with the 2-2. Fastball in, called to right. Putz is frozen as Andrew Herrera strikes out the side and leaves the bases loaded. Harwich unable to add to their 5-2 lead. We head to the 9th inning from White House Field. You're watching Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
batting for the Red Sox.
Top of the 9th inning,
page
White House
40,
Field, Colin
Tanner
Casey
Smith.
alongside Tim Foley as the Mariners look to hammer down a victory and make 3 straight games without a loss. Alex Rayo on for his second inning of work. First pitch swung on. Preisner making the play at short. The long throw in time. Nice play by the Notre Dame shortstop, and he retires the first man of the inning. Mariners 2 outs away from securing the W.
He's had a really nice game. He's been a surefire shortstop for the
Red
Mariners
Sox,
since coming in.
number 2,
Really
the third baseman
has
from
done an
Stanford,
excellent
Drew
job
Bowser.
making plays, shifting over in tough situations, and making a lot of these throws look easy.
We got a pinch hitter, so no Drew Bowser for the Red Sox. They go with a lefty. It is Cade Hunter pinch hitting in his spot. So Hunter looking just to get on base and bring the tying run to the plate any way he can. Hunter, a natural catcher from Virginia Tech. Another ACC guy. First pitch misses outside. Hunter from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Coming in on the season, hitting just 115. 3 for 26. Here from Scott Pickler to put him in a spot to try to set the table in the top of the 9th. Rayo's 1-0. Fastball in for a strike. There is an arm warming still. Rayo's in a good spot right now. There's a chopper back towards Preisner. Backhands it once more. Throw is in time to putts. So Zach Preisner making a couple of nice plays at short, and the Mariners have the Red Sox on the ropes down to the out.
Yeah, I mean, really not much more else to say about that. He's just consistent over at short. He's looked good all night long.
And so
Now pinch hitting
Andrew
Red Sox,
Compton
number
going to
25
pinch hit.
from Stanford, Andrew Compton.
Compton from Georgia Tech. Yep. Switch hitter from Georgia Tech. Fouls off the first pitch. Hits off of McKeithen. Compton. Berkeley Heights. Also, a bit of a rough start to the season, hitting a $148. It's also struck times. Breaking ball misses down and away. Red Sox needing a rally to keep their 3-game win streak alive. 1-1. Hit down the left field line. Play. He can't quite get there. I think he just ran out of real line too. Bases out. YD's lead the East. The other teams in the Eastern Division, including Orleans, who won tonight. 1-2 pitch, just inside. Appreciate you, everyone who is tuned in on this wet Thursday night. The two grounder to first. It's scooped in fair territory by Putz. The ball game is over. The Harwich Mariners are back at 500 on the season as they take down the YD Red Sox by a final score of 5-3. Finally get the monkey off their back and beat the Red Sox for the first time in their 3rd game against them this season. When we come back, we'll wrap things up quickly. Mariners again coming out victorious on this rainy Thursday night. Stay tuned for the post-game recap here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back here at White House Field, the final from this one, 5-3. The Mariners take down the Red Sox and end a back-to-back losing streak against YD to start the season after the Mariners sent them home in 2019 series. So a good bounce back for as they 5 home on the season and to 6. One goes to Trey Dombrowski, who is performance from him going 7 strong innings, striking out 9 batters. He improves to 1-0. Zach Franklin 1-1 as he is saddled with the loss. Did not record an out as he's again now 1-1 on the season. Alex Rayau picking up the save, his first of the season. He goes 2 innings picking up the save. 5 runs on 10 hits, 1 error for the victorious Harwich Mariners. 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors for YD. Mariners leaving 7 runners on base in this one. Harwich will be back in action tomorrow afternoon, or will they? Weather forecast not looking too great, but if we do play baseball at 5 to it against the Kettleers at Lowell Park, be sure to tune in on the Harwich Mariners radio network. It will be Tim Foley, Tyler Henry on the call for that one. For both of them, for my producer Matt Lucy, my name is Colin Casey. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, final score from White House Field, Harwich 5. Everyone, we appreciate